Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the vast expanse of human experience, guided by the lantern of curiosity and the compass of wonder. Today, we find ourselves at the threshold of a pivotal moment in American history, a turning point that would shape the destiny of a nation: the Battle of Saratoga. As we delve into the origins of this seminal event, let us first set the stage with a brief overview. The Battle of Saratoga, fought on September 19, October 7, 1777, was a decisive victory for the Continental Army, marking a crucial shift in the American Revolutionary War. But to truly understand the significance of this battle, we must first explore its precursors, the events and decisions that led to this fateful confrontation. In the summer of 1777, British General John Burgoyne, determined to split the colonies and force a negotiated settlement, launched an invasion from Canada with the intention of marching down to New York City. His army, comprising over 7,000 soldiers, including German mercenaries and Native American allies, set out on June 17, 1777, from Fort St. John, now known as Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, Quebec, d'Ortega. As they proceeded southward, their progress was hindered by the difficult terrain of the Adirondack wilderness and the resistance from American militiamen, who employed guerrilla tactics to harass and delay the British advance. Meanwhile, the Continental Army, under the command of General Horatio Gates, had been assembling in the vicinity of Saratoga, a small village situated on the west bank of the Hudson River. This strategic location offered a natural defensive position, with the river forming a barrier to the east and the high ground on Bemis Heights, providing an advantageous vantage point from which to survey the surrounding countryside. Benedict Arnold, one of Gates' most trusted subordinates, played a pivotal role in selecting these defensive positions and preparing the American army for the impending battle. As the British forces approached, they found themselves increasingly beset by supply chain issues and the challenges of navigating unfamiliar territory. The Americans, on the other hand, were bolstered by their defensive positions and growing confidence, as well as the support of local militiamen who knew the land intimately. On September 13, 1777, American scouts reported that Burgoyne's army was crossing the Hudson River at Fort Edward, signaling the beginning of the endgame for the British invasion. The events that unfolded in the summer and fall of 1777 were a complex tapestry of strategic decisions, bravery, and chance encounters. The precursors to the Battle of Saratoga, including the initial skirmishes between American militiamen and British scouts, the construction of defensive positions on Bemis Heights, and the intricate web of alliances with Native American tribes, all contributed to the drama that would soon unfold. As we explore these origins, it becomes clear that the Battle of Saratoga was not merely a clash of arms, but a collision of wills, ambitions, and ideologies. The British sought to quell the rebellion and maintain their dominion over the colonies, while the Americans fought for their right to self-governance and freedom. This dichotomy would set the stage for one of the most pivotal battles in American history. And so, dear listeners, we have reached the precipice of our narrative, where the precursors to the Battle of Saratoga have been laid bare before us. The stage is now set for the main event, where strategy and bravery will intertwine like the threads of a rich tapestry. Join me as we step into the midst of this epic struggle, where heroes were forged and the course of nations was altered forever. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, where we're exploring the pivotal moments of the Battle of Saratoga, a turning point in American history that would shape the destiny of a nation. As we delve into the heart of this battle, we find ourselves on September 19, 1777, when British General John Burgoyne's army, comprising over 7,000 soldiers, including German mercenaries and Native American allies, emerged from the Adirondack wilderness and approached the Continental Army's defensive positions on Bemis Heights. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation. The Americans, under the command of General Horatio Gates, had carefully prepared their defenses, with Benedict Arnold playing a crucial role in selecting and fortifying these strategic locations. As the British forces advanced, they were met with a hail of artillery fire from the American lines, which inflicted significant casualties and hindered their progress. On September 19, 1777, the first day of the battle, the British launched a series of probing attacks against the American defenses, seeking to identify weaknesses in the Continental Army's positions. However, these assaults were repelled with heavy losses, as the Americans held firm behind their earthworks and barricades. The British suffered over 600 casualties, including several high-ranking officers, while the Americans lost fewer than 300 men. The next few days saw a lull in the fighting, as both sides regrouped and reassessed their strategies. However, on October 7, 1777, Burgoyne launched a desperate assault against the American lines, hoping to break through and reach the strategic town of Albany. This attack, known as the Battle of Bemis Heights, would prove to be the decisive moment in the Battle of Saratoga. The British forces advanced in 3 columns, with General Simon Fraser's brigade leading the charge. However, they were met with fierce resistance from the American troops, who had been reinforced by fresh units and were determined to hold their ground. The fighting was intense, with both sides suffering heavy casualties, but ultimately, the Americans emerged victorious, having repelled the British assault and inflicted devastating losses on Burgoyne's army. As the British retreated in disarray, their situation became increasingly desperate. Cut off from their supply lines and facing a determined enemy, they were forced to surrender on October 17, 1777. The terms of the surrender, negotiated by General Gates and General Burgoyne, allowed the British troops to march out with honors, but they were required to lay down their arms and become prisoners of war. The Battle of Saratoga marked a crucial turning point in the American Revolutionary War. The decisive victory gave the Continental Army a much-needed boost in morale and confidence, while also convincing France to ally itself with the Americans, providing significant financial and military support. This shift in the balance of power would ultimately contribute to the defeat of the British at Yorktown in 1781, securing American independence. As we reflect on this pivotal moment in history, we're filled with a sense of wonder and awe at the bravery, strategy, and determination displayed by the soldiers on both sides. The Battle of Saratoga was a testament to the power of human resilience and the unwavering commitment to freedom and self-governance that defined the American Revolution. And so, dear listeners, we've reached the climax of our narrative, where the triumphs and tribulations of the Battle of Saratoga have been laid bare before us. Join me as we step into the dawn of a new era, where the legacy of Saratoga would shape the destiny of a nation forever. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, where we're exploring the aftermath of the Battle of Saratoga, a pivotal moment in American history that would shape the destiny of a nation. As we delve into the consequences of the British defeat, we find ourselves in the midst of a rapidly changing landscape, where the impact of this battle would be felt far beyond the fields of upstate New York. The surrender of British General John Burgoyne's army on October 17, 1777, marked a significant turning point in the American Revolutionary War. The news of the defeat sent shockwaves throughout Britain, leading to a re-evaluation of the war effort and the resignation of Prime Minister Frederick North. In contrast, the Continental Army's victory boosted morale and confidence, convincing France to ally itself with the Americans and providing significant financial and military support. The French alliance, formalized in February 1778, would prove to be a crucial factor in the ultimate defeat of the British at Yorktown in 1781. The influx of French troops, supplies, and funding enabled the Continental Army to launch a series of successful campaigns against the British, eventually leading to the surrender of General Charles Cornwallis's army and securing American independence. The Battle of Saratoga also had significant implications for the Native American tribes who had allied themselves with the British. The defeat of the British led to a shift in the balance of power, as many Native American tribes began to question their alliance with the British and seek new relationships with the Americans. This would ultimately lead to the signing of the Treaty of Fort Stanwix in 1784, which established the boundaries between Native American lands and American territory. In the years following the Battle of Saratoga, the Continental Army continued to face significant challenges, including harsh winters, supply shortages, and internal conflicts. However, the momentum gained from the victory at Saratoga helped to sustain the army through these difficult times, ultimately leading to the triumph at Yorktown. As we reflect on the legacy of the Battle of Saratoga, we're reminded of the power of human resilience and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. The bravery and strategic brilliance displayed by the soldiers on both sides serve as a testament to the enduring spirit of freedom and self-governance that defined the American Revolution. In conclusion, the aftermath of the Battle of Saratoga marked a significant turning point in American history, setting in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to the defeat of the British and the birth of a new nation. As we close this chapter on the Battle of Saratoga, we're left with a sense of awe and appreciation for the sacrifices made by the soldiers who fought for freedom and independence, and a deeper understanding of the enduring legacy of this pivotal moment in American history. Join me next time as we explore other fascinating stories from the annals of history. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.